Welcome to Overcomers Generation Ministry. My name is Rahab Gatura. Today we are going to address a very important topic. We are going to talk about challenges faced by widowers. A widower is a man who has lost his wife or his spouse and has not remarried. This is a very sensitive topic because most of the time we are talking about widows and orphans. But the issue of widowers is not much addressed across this world, not only in Africa or in any specific region. And there's a reason behind that, because men and women are different. God created us in a different way. So when a man loses his wife, the challenges he faces are many. They are very many. Because when he is used to a wife, they are used to working together, to doing a lot of things. And I want to talk about our cultural barriers. Because when I talk about widowers, a widower in Africa or in developing countries is very different in some areas to a widower maybe in the Western world. This is because of our cultural upbringing. I want to say that when a man loses his wife, he faces a lot of darkness. Because he got married, he had a spouse, and he knew that is only death which can separate them. And when death comes, it is a confirmation that things have changed. So I want to talk about widowers. Widowers face many challenges, just like the widows. But the difference is, you find that men, when they are widowed, they maybe they remarry faster than the widowers. And this is understandable because men are the one who actually, in most cultures, they are the ones who approach a woman. So when a man is widowed, of course his dreams are shattered. He doesn't know what to do. If he has children, he has to know how to start taking care of them, especially when they are young. They have to go to school. He has to worry, where is the school uniform, where are the books, what are they going to eat for breakfast, even if he has maybe somebody helping him. So I want to say the challenges faced by widowers are many. I want to say the boy child is very different from a girl child. And most men, actually, they don't talk much as women. Therefore, when a man is bereaved, you find the darkness is so much. Because even if he has friends, he's not able to express himself like maybe a woman who will come and start telling people what has happened. You find men, because of the way they are not free to talk so much. And therefore, the issues even become more complicated. I want to say that I've talked to a number of widowers because I'm a woman, so I can't really say I know everything. But I've talked to a number of widowers, and they seem to have many challenges, just like the widows. One of the greatest challenges, of course, is loneliness. They find they are confused. You know, when the darkness comes, they don't know what to do. And also the challenge of bringing up children, because the children come home, maybe they have come from school, and you have to deal with that issue. If you are working, you could have a very busy job, and you're also tired, and the children have come, and you have to be strong for them. I want to say that there are many people who actually look at widowers. When they just get widowed, they think of how soon they are going to remarry. But I want to say that when one man is widowed, it is important that it takes time. It takes time to heal. Because if you don't heal, it's very easy, because of your emotional status, to actually and you're vulnerable, to maybe even fall in love very easily with a person maybe who might not be the right person for you. So I want to say there is no specific time, but I would say that the best thing is to wait upon God, because God created you in his own image, just like the words in Jeremiah 29:11. He knows you, he knows that you're a man, and you have lost your wife. We are told that God cannot give you a burden which you cannot carry. So wait upon God, take your time, heal, and let God take over your status. So I want to say that in many cultures, and I'm specifically in where I'm coming from, in my own culture here in Africa, you find that when a man is widowed, many people just start thinking about who is going to be his wife. When is he going to get married? Who is going to be the spouse? So even as people come, when a man has lost his wife, many people will come, maybe your friends, your family members, your church members, your community members. And you see, in that particular time, people are not thinking what the widower is going through, but they are thinking who is going to replace the wife. Okay, it's good, but it's good also to pray for this widower, for God to give him wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, even as he goes through bereavement. Because bereavement, some people take a long time to go through it. Somebody has lost his wife. They had a relationship, even sometimes for many years, depending on the time the wife died. And it doesn't really matter whether you have been married for 5 years, 1 year, 10 years, even 20 years. And I think even I've found out that the longer you have stayed with their spouse, the more difficult it is to actually overcome that grief. So I want to say that for widowers, they face many, many challenges. And I've said one of them is that challenge of parenting, loneliness, how to handle your house matters. And even in the community, many people, when a man is widowed, they are looking in a very suspicious way, which is not right. Because if somebody comes to that home, maybe just to help, maybe it was just especially when somebody is single, you find like the women who are married, they are very, very sensitive to see who is actually coming to comfort this widower. Even whether it is from your family, whether it's from your community, whether it's from your church. So you find especially the women who are married or the mature women, they are very sensitive to see, when they see a young girl or a lady who is single, they always tend to think, oh, she's coming because she's looking for a prospective husband. It's not always the case. And I want to say that it's very wrong to actually think like that. The best thing you can do is to pray for the widower. I want to say that there are many, many testimonies I've heard where a man has been bereaved and he has waited upon God, and it doesn't matter the time. It could be 6 months, it could be 6 years, or even longer, and they have found a spouse, and sometimes even from their own environment, especially from the church. And I want to say, if you're a Christian, you don't go looking for a person who is not a Christian. It doesn't matter where that person is coming from, whether it's from your community or from your church or from your workplace. The most important that this person is born again. And the society, I want to pray that we should not be judgmental. Because, for example, if somebody has lost his wife, and in the church which attends, maybe there's a lady who is single, and after being bereaved, he never even looked at this lady before. But after being bereaved, the Lord starts showing him this somebody here who is very committed to God and can make a good wife. And then if that something happens, that the man decides this is the person, you find the same people who are supposed to have been praying are the ones who start talking very negatively about this new relationship. You hear people talking about, oh, they must have been knowing each other. Oh, maybe even he wanted his wife to die. Maybe this particular lady has been, courting this particular man. And it's not always the case. I'm not saying it cannot be, but I'm saying most of the times it's not the case. Because these are two human beings. A man has lost his wife, and there's a single lady around him who is available. And the Bible is very clear that when a man loses his wife, he is free to remarry. The only thing he cannot do is to go and take somebody else's wife. But if you're a Christian and your wife has gone to be with the Lord and you have taken time to heal, I would say that there's nothing wrong. And the best thing is actually, if you have children, if the time comes you feel that you need to start dating, it's good even before you do anything to actually talk about it with your children. Of course, in many circumstances, there will be that rejection, because children, they love their mom and they cannot imagine, especially when they're young, somebody is coming to replace their mother. But the reality of the matter is that men are different from women in many ways, and that's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong for a man to remarry. And that's why if you read the Bible, you will not find anywhere where you are saying that God is the husband of the husbands. You read that God is the husband of the widow and the father of the fatherless. Why? Because God knows the man is the head of the home. and is able to make decisions, even to move on, easier than a woman. So if you are a man and you have been widowed, there's nothing wrong to actually remarry. The only bad thing is to rush into it. And I want to say, us as who have not gone through that, let us support people who have been widowed. And they have said that there is also stigmatization. I never knew that until I talked to a widower. And I asked, there's so much stigmatization on widows. But he said, no, even men, they face stigmatization. I say, what type of stigmatization? He says there are many times when you maybe used to go to places as couples. And when you go there, you find somebody who thinks it's a joke, says, oh, you, Mr. So-and-so, please don't sit next to my wife. And when such a comment actually hurts this man so much. Because when he had a wife, you were never sensitive of where he was sitting. If maybe you had a fellowship as couples. But now that the wife is not there, you can find maybe one of your friends commenting, oh, please don't sit near my wife. And you see, that is actually a very, very bad comment. Because this person who has been bereaved, he feels, oh, you mean I'm now treated differently because I'm widowed? And he could just be sitting or just talking to your wife because of that is the way it was. But this particular brother told me, no, many, they change. The way you used to relate to them, they don't want you to be near their wives. And that is also stigmatization, and is a very difficult situation because what happens, you withdraw. That's what he told me. You withdraw, you find these people, they are not the same people. I'm not able to fit. So I want to say that if you're a widower, when you have lost your spouse, the most important thing is to accept that you're alone. You are no longer married. Your wife is no longer there. So that the moment you tell God, I'm alone, the God will give you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of how to navigate in this life. And God will help you. Because if even in your workplace, you'll be able to work knowing that you're alone. If people are sensitive about you relating to the opposite gender or opposite sex, you also now say, okay, whatever I'm doing, if I'm going for lunch, I'm not going just to invite anybody. I'll be very sensitive. What am I saying? That widowers face a lot of challenges. We don't know unless somebody is a widower, may not understand, but the ones I've talked to, I've listened to, they also face a lot of challenges. And I want to actually just tell those of us who are around widows to support them. And how can a widow move on? First and foremost, I would say, is to organize yourself. First and foremost, after maybe your wife is buried, take time to organize your home, get to know what needs to be done, the children maybe wear their books and everything. Put your house in order so that now this is your house. You have no other helper. Even if you could have a house manager, but the bottom line that you as the man, as the parent now, because now you're a single parent, you need to have an idea of what is there. Whether there is food, whether the children have pens, whether the school uniform is okay, or how they are going to get to school, what time they come to school, and all that. So your life changes all of a sudden. And it's very important that you get to know what happens in your home. Because maybe when you had a wife, she was taking a lot of those household issues. But now because you're widowed, deal with that. Put your house in order. Talk to your children. Encourage them. When they come, even when you're discouraged, be strong for them because their mother is not there. And especially when they are young children, it is very traumatic for them. So just embrace them. If you are working, make sure that by the time they come from school, that you change your schedule. That if you are leaving your office maybe at 5 or 6 or 7, that you can talk maybe to your supervisors of your bosses, that you can leave maybe earlier than you used to leave. Don't work late. Because when you had a wife, you could just call and say, today I'm going to be late. But now, you are the single parent, your children are expecting you to be there. So please try to adjust your lifestyle. It is very important, except when the children are small, that you come home early, that you have a fellowship with them, you put them to bed, they go to bed knowing that you are there. Because these children are also going through a lot of trauma. And here I'm addressing of children who are younger, because when children are bigger, they can deal with the issue in a different way. So encourage them. Let them know that you are there. That loneliness, because it is very, very lonely and very traumatic even for children, to know in that home, as they go to bed, the mother is not there, but the father is there. So please adjust your lifestyle, adjust the time you are going to be home, how you are going to do your business, because now you have a different role. You are the mother and the father of your children. Another issue I would like to say is that, please, if you are a Christian, or be committed. Maybe you are going to church, and maybe you are not going to church. Maybe your wife is the one who was going to church with the children. I want to tell you, it's not easy to overcome these challenges, especially widowhood. So if you find yourself in a situation whereby, if you are a man, and I'm talking because I belong to a society where sometimes the men don't go to church, and it's only the women who take the children to church. So if you are thinking that going to church is for your wife, and the wife has been doing that, now that she's not there, I would beg you, in case you belong to that category of men who do not go to church, that on Sundays you set it apart for God. That you take your children to school. If they are young, make sure they go to Sunday school. If they are teenagers, let them go to teen school. And even if they are bigger, let them just go to church together. And also at home, make sure you have time to have a family altar, that you can pray together. Just if your wife was maybe a very committed Christian, and she was doing a lot of things which you are finding is not important, maybe you're even coming home when everybody has slept. When you are widowed, I would beseech you to change your lifestyle, so that you are the one to guide your family, because now you are alone. And if you are a Christian and you have been doing all that, you have been going to church even as a family, please continue, even be more committed. And to overcome this challenge of widowhood, I would ask you to make sure that you join a group, that you don't just come from work or your business, come to the home, take care of your family and stay. No. It's very, very difficult. It's important you identify a group, a support group, whatever it is, whether it's, thank God today for online. Look for a support group. Even you could be even 3 men of similar issue who have been widowed. And even if not, if there's a men's fellowship in your church, join that men's fellowship. Because if they are not going to discuss about widowhood, they are going to discuss different issues addressed by men. And it is important that you have that a support group, where now you can be able to go there and feel that you are not just working, you are not just bringing up your children, now that you're widowed. Join a men's ministry. Be committed. And if you have a lot of time in your life and you feel you don't know what to do, you can volunteer. You can volunteer in your church, in whichever area you want. This is to make you not feel lonely. This is to make you feel that you are not just alone. If maybe you used to visit different people, maybe different places, maybe you used to go on holiday, you may find that maybe you are going as couples to visit even on holiday. But now you find you might not fit, because when the moment somebody talks about my wife, it rubs you the wrong way. Because you think that brother is talking about my wife because I don't have a wife. And it's not always the case, because he has a wife, he has to talk about his wife. Your wife is no more. But because you are vulnerable, such statements actually rub you the wrong way, and you might find you don't want to go to such a gathering again. So I want to tell you, make sure that you change your lifestyle, you surrender to God, and I want to say that life is very difficult. I want to say that I'm speaking because I'm a widow myself, I'm not a man, but the challenge is, of course, men remarry faster than women, and it's okay. And I want to say that I have talked about this issue. I've written a book dealing with the challenges of life, and this book is called Overcoming Life's Challenges. And this book will help you as a widower to see some of these issues which you come across when you're widowed, especially loneliness, the emotional needs, the physical needs, how to go about them, how to deal with the society, how to deal with how about parenting. So I would advise you, if you can, to get a copy of my book. It is called Overcoming Life's Challenges, and you can get it through this number. You can call us, we can tell you where to get it. The number is +254 721 738700. Can I repeat again how you can get this book? +254 721-738700. You could be listening to this message and maybe you're not a widower, but you might know a widow, a man who has been bereaved. You can buy him a gift. You can surprise him so that he can know he's not alone in this world. And I want to finish by saying, the society, let us just support our brothers who have been bereaved so that they feel part of us. Let's not be judgmental, whereby somebody remarries and you start talking about calculating when the wedding, when is the wedding held, and you start going backwards. When did the wife die? You start judging maybe these people. No, let these people move on, because God is a God of second chance, and the person needs to live. They don't have to be alone. If God can give them another spouse who meets their needs, there's nothing wrong, because the Bible is very clear. And that's why you find in Africa especially, and all over the world, men and widowhood is not a very common topic, because men always remarry, and they need to remarry. There's nothing wrong. So let us support those who are able to marry. The one thing I'm saying, do not rush, heal, because there are cases where a man is bereaved, he rushes into marriage and it becomes worse. The person is not able to cope, maybe if he has children, and it becomes a disaster. I'm sure you don't want to lose your spouse and get married and get into divorce. That is not the will of God. So wait upon God. God's timing is the best, and I can assure you God will give you the right spouse. And there are many, many great testimonies of men who have remarried and married very, very good ladies who has been able to cope with their children. And even if there are no children, you have good companion. May God bless you. Please subscribe to our channel, like it, and share. God bless you.